Alrighty, friends. Today we are continuing our series in risk management on advanced trading psychology. The first week we went into overcoming fear and greed in trading, which I really enjoyed that lesson. This whole 4 week program I really am enjoying. The week after that, we went over the role of confidence in risk management, and we went over the difference between confidence and overconfidence and how to build and sustain healthy confidence levels. And today we're going over dealing with trading losses and setbacks, which today will be a concise lesson. I'm really excited about it. Should provide you guys with some tools to immediately improve your trading. And we can take this lesson a little bit further in how to accept losses on a bigger level in life. What happens when things don't go your way and how to deal with that stuff. And then next week, we're going to be going over building a resilient trader mindset. So kind of the culmination of what we went over the last 3 weeks. And then that'll be it for this 4 week little program. So I'm excited for it. Today's lesson should be good. Alrighty, friends. So I broke today's lesson dealing with trading losses and setbacks into 2 parts. The first part being psychological strategies to handle a losing streak. And part 2 is recovering mentally and refocusing after a loss, which part 2 I'm really, it's probably my favorite part of this, but it's all important nonetheless. Hitting back day to day, let's go, man. Yeah, like I said, I'm taking it easy. I'm going to do some cardio today, but my body's yelling at me recently. I gotta listen whenever it does that. All right, folks, let's jump into it. Psychological strategies to handle losing streaks. Acceptance of loss is part of trading. And so acceptance, I think we know in everything in life is crucial. It is crucial. And there's no difference when it comes to trading. It is something that has to be understood. If you don't understand that acceptance of losses is part of the game, you are setting yourself up for failure, and it's going to be really hard for you to overcome these losses. And they're going to be more mentally taxing than they should be. So accepting that losses are a natural and inevitable part of trading reduces emotional distress and promotes resilience. Pretty straightforward. So viewing losses as learning opportunities prevents fixation on mistakes, helping maintain a balanced perspective and avoid emotional spirals. So this stuff is pretty straightforward, folks. It's, again, a lot of my lessons revolve around foundational skill sets that we have to build, and acceptance is a big part of that. Knowing that losses are inevitable and they're part of the learning process makes it so much easier for you to view that in a healthy way. View the loss, view the losing week or the losing streak or whatever it is you're going through as part of the process. And if you're able to separate those negative emotions like defeat and failure with these losses and view them in a healthier light as it's part of the learning process. I'm paying tuition to my education. If you're able to switch to that mindset, I promise you, you are really, really helping yourself and setting yourself up for success. So try to remind yourself that each trade is part of a larger strategy and focus on the process-oriented goals instead of the outcomes, being money. This mindset shift can help you view losses constructively, just like what I just went over. I don't want to beat the dead horse here, but it is really important that you get this, that I'm not just talking about, hey, accept losses, they're part of the game. Sure, yeah, they are, but on a deeper level, what I'm trying to get, I'm trying to get across to you guys is that you have to have that mindset shift from when a loss does happen and all these emotions are boiling up and you're feeling maybe it's anger, maybe it's sadness, maybe, it's a mix of the two. A lot of stuff starts to happen, especially if you go on a losing streak after you finally saw some progress. And then when I'm like, hey, view losses as part of the program, it's going to be a lot harder to accept that. And so what I'm encouraging you guys to do is to make the mindset shift now. So every small loss you do take now, you view in a healthier light, knowing that this is part of the process and you need to take these losses to grow. And even the biggest firms in the world, the best hedge fund management companies in the world ever, take losses. Understanding that, your risk management plan is, for them and you alike, is the most important part of these investments and strategies. But knowing that with a healthy mindset, you're going to be able to get through these without the massive mental taxation that happens if you just view it as a failure. You're like, dude, I cannot believe I just went on a losing streak after finally seeing some or progress rather. And, you start to get down on yourself, maybe you don't go to the gym that day, and it's just this mental spiral that starts to happen, and it's never productive. It's never good. So asking yourself questions like, is the way that I'm thinking right now going to help me long term? The answer is probably no if you're having negative thoughts. Or maybe it's, what's a better way for me to be thinking about this right now? So again, what I'm encouraging you guys to do is just make that mindset shift now. And so when those little losses come up, you're able to handle them better. They're part of the process. You're able to, ground yourself, feel those emotions, but don't let them affect you, and then move forward in a healthy way to build the habits, the really healthy habits, so that when those big losses happen, those big losing streaks happen, you're able to sit back, just go for a walk, and you're able to recenter in 30 minutes rather than it's devastating for a week or a month. And that stuff happens, guys. You may think it can't happen to you, but unless you're in a healthy headspace, absolutely it can happen to you. So again, it's important to understand that losses, yes, are it's part of the career. It's part of this skill set that you're trying to develop, trading, investing. Losses will happen, but we know that. What's more important is you guys to make that mental shift. So highly encourage you guys to start thinking that way and put it at the forefront of your mind when you take trades and when you take losses and wins alike. So moving on to using cognitive reframing. This stuff is super important. I use this for essentially everything in my life. So reframing involves altering your perspective on a loss to see it as an opportunity for growth or a stepping stone for future success. So, cognitive reframing is kind of taking a step further than what we just talked about. Reframing helps reduce negative emotions associated with losses and fosters a more positive outlook on setbacks. So again, I'm going to repeat that first part I mentioned. Reframing involves altering your perspective on a loss to see it as an opportunity for growth or a stepping stone for future success. So after a losing trade, write down what you learned and how it will improve your approach. So there's a reason I wrote that like that. Listen one more time. After a losing trade, write down what you learned and how it will improve your approach. I didn't say how it might help improve your approach or help improve your strategy. It's how will it. And if you're able to understand that, if you're able to look at these trades as a true learning opportunity for yourself, you're going to be unstoppable. And I don't say that lightly, like truly, if you're able to make that shift, and they call it the Mamba mentality from Kobe Bryant, but like truly, if you're able to make that mental shift and view each and every single win and loss alike as a opportunity for growth, you're going to do so well. But if you let these emotions and losses mentally tax you, you're going to run out of steam quickly. And then you sit back at the computer after beating down on yourself and having all these negative emotions, and then you sit down and you take another trade and then you lose. And if you don't have that healthy headspace, it is really going to start to become a heavy weight. It's going to be harder and harder for you to carry. So it's really important to have this mindset. I'll say it one more time. After a losing trade, write down what you learned and how it will improve your approach reframe the experience as a valuable lesson rather than a defeat. Pretty straightforward, folks. How are we feeling? That was part 1. We're going to jump into part 2 here shortly. Taking a few losses, not going to the gym, just worst thing I could do. Now I going if day is green or red, and after that workout, best feeling. Yeah, I think, in our our wellness classes, we're going over the mind and body connection and how the two are inseparable. They're intertwined at a biological level, a spiritual level, an emotional level. They're intertwined and they're inseparable and they're part of us. So if you are unhealthy physically, I can assure you that you are going to be unhealthy mentally as well, and vice versa. Of course, I'm not saying if you're sick, you're going to have a really shitty headspace. Sometimes that happens, but not always, But if you are constantly neglecting your body, I promise you there are scientific effects that will happen on a biological and a physiological level to your mind, making it much harder to stay happy, to be joyful, to give gratitude, and vice versa. You see those guys who are and women who are in the gym all the time and eat all the right things, but they neglect their mental headspace and their emotional well-being. And in that same way, the hormones that your brain produces and how it affects your body as a whole, it truly, when you start to get sick, and you will at one point in your life, it will negatively affect it. It's just not optimal. It's going to negatively affect your biology. So if you want to prosper in both aspects, mentally, emotionally, and physically, you have to work on both as a whole. So just like what Greg said, and what I mentioned earlier, when you take those losses, you have to, get your body moving, focus on your diet, your health, getting sun on your skin, walking outside. This stuff really does help your mental health. And I can't stress that enough. We're doing a 4-week course on it right now, guys. It's important stuff that should not be looked over lightly. Okay, folks. No worries, Greg. I got what you were saying. All right. So jumping into part 2, recovering mentally and refocusing after a loss. So structured breaks are super, super important. And I'm not just saying, take a break whenever you feel like it. Like if you take a loss, part of your risk management plan should be a structured break. Okay, I just took a loss. Maybe it's a small loss and it's really not affecting you emotionally, and you can sit there and move forward. Maybe your structured break after that loss is 3 physiological sighs or 3 deep breaths, and to just, relax for a second, feel your body, move around a little bit, take that deep breath, and then move forward productively. That could be your structured break. Highly encourage you guys to do that. Let's say you reach your daily loss limit where you weren't expecting to. I don't think any of us are expecting to lose or reach our daily loss limit. But when that happens, maybe part of your risk management plan is now taking a structured break to go walk outside. It's like, okay, if I hit my daily loss limit, I'm going to go take a 10-minute walk. It's not only good for your mind, your emotions, and your body, but it's also going to help your trading. It's going to ensure that you don't sit there and ruminate and, start to, take revenge trading and go into it's just this nasty stuff. And I think a lot of us, are familiar with those feelings. So structured breaks are a really good way to set yourself up for success. Let's say you blow an account. Maybe part of your risk management plan is like, okay, I have to go. I'm not trading for, 3 days at least. Maybe it's a week for you. Maybe it's a month. If you blow your account, say, all right, I have to go for a 3-mile run. That's my thing. If I blow an account, I'm going for a 3-mile run to clear my head. And when I get back from that 3-mile run, I'm going to journal about how I just blew my account. And I'm telling you guys, if you truly do focus on your mental health, your physical health, and your risk management plan, and you really, really do take your risk management plan seriously along with your mental health, you're going to do really well. You're going to be able to move or progress quicker than I would say the majority of people. But if you don't, again, you're just setting yourself up for failure. So be cognizant of that. Like, your risk management plan is so important, and it is more encompassing than just your lot size and your stop loss. Incorporate structured breaks. Incorporate your budget. What's your income? What are your expenses? Incorporate that into your risk management plan when you decide to get another prop firm account or start a live account. So essentially what I'm saying is there's a lot going on, and you can't just view trading as this one little part of your life. I'm telling you, the emotions that trading brings are so primal. Any slack, to put it nicely, in any other aspect of your life is truly going to directly affect your trading abilities. So let's see what I had on my notes for taking a structured break. Taking a deliberate break after a setback allows emotions to settle and provide space for reflection. So step away from trading screens and engage in a grounding activity such as a walk or deep breathing. This break can help you reset your mind and clear emotional reactions before returning to trading. So everything I already went over and more. All right, our last point here. Focus on emotional regulation techniques. This stuff is so important. We went over it for 4 weeks in our emotional regulation and emotional intelligence class, but here it is again. And this is a abbreviated version of it, but it is so important and so powerful nonetheless. So techniques like deep breathing or journaling can help manage stress, clarify thoughts, and restore focus after a loss. And I know I put that very simply. And because it is simple, it's a simple thing, but it is so, so powerful. I'm going to say that one more time. And this is a culmination of a lot of research that I've done just in one sentence, but this stuff is scientifically backed. Like, truly hear my words and understand that these are true. Techniques like just deep breathing or journaling, just writing down how you felt, can help manage stress on a biological level. Clarify your thoughts, reduce all that brain fog and negative thoughts, and really help you focus and restore focus after a loss. This stuff is true, it is proven, and it is so powerful. I highly recommend when you're focusing on emotional regulation, just deep breathing and journaling can put you miles ahead of where you would be without it. So try practicing. Here's a little practical tip for us. Try practicing the physiological sigh and/or write down your feelings to process emotions calmly. This practice will allow you to re-enter the market with a clearer, more focused mindset. So I'll go over briefly. The physiological sigh is the best way scientifically that we know of to reduce stress on a chemical level in your blood, not only in real time, but throughout the day. Meaning it lowers adrenaline and cortisol in your bloodstream immediately and makes you feel better. And it also shifts your nervous system from it shifts your autonomic nervous system from sympathetic, which is fight or flight, to parasympathetic, which is rest and digest, the state that you should be in when you're trading. And all you have to do to perform this is one long inhale through the nose until your lungs are as full as they can be. And then another really sharp inhale through the nose to really inflate all those little sacs. I believe they're called the alveoli in your lungs. And then one long exhale throughout the mouth. So inhale through the nose, another sharp inhale through the nose, and then exhale through the mouth until your lungs are empty. And repeat. And if you guys just practice this here, I promise you guys, you will see a difference. I could talk on and on about the physiological side, but essentially is what I'm saying is take a deep breath. Try practicing deep breaths, the physiological side, or write down your feelings to process emotions calmly. This stuff really does help, and it will improve your trading. There's no way around it. If you guys are looking for a way to improve your trading, take a deep breath and journal. How easy is that? Yet so little of us really do it. So highly encourage you guys to do it. And here's my closing statement for us. By applying psychological strategies such as acceptance and reframing, And using recovery techniques like structured breaks and emotional regulation, you can handle losing streaks more effectively, reduce emotional distress, and refocus on your trading goals. That's the whole name of the game, right? Focusing on our trading goals, how to get there optimally, setting yourself up for success. This stuff matters, folks. Stuff really does. And it's not like I'm just, shooting out little bullet points at you. Like, there's a lot of research that, it's easier for me to write this stuff now because of all the information I learned, but this stuff's backed up by hard science, really well done studies. And all you have to do is implement it. Here's the information. Go do it. So I appreciate you guys a ton. That's all I have in the structured lesson today. If you guys have questions, I'll be happy to open it up to Q&A now. So if you guys got anything, let me know. If not, I encourage you guys to, again, like we talked about at the beginning of this lesson, having that shift, knowing that, sure, it's important to know that losses are part of the program. Yeah, they're going to happen. You have to be willing to accept them. But shifting your mindset is more important, and understanding that after a losing trade, there is something to be learned there. There is something to be gained there. But if you don't have that mindset, you're just going to view it as a defeat, a failure, and you're just going to move on about your day, and the next loss comes, and the next loss comes, and now your emotional regulation is all askew, and you really don't know how to deal with this stuff. I'm telling you, make that shift, make that headspace shift, where when a loss happens, you can look at it and say, write down on a piece of paper, how did this help me? How will it fix my approach to this trade setup? Whatever it might be, folks, make that shift. So when the losing streaks do inevitably come, you will be much better off and able to handle them more effectively. It doesn't look like we have any questions or comments, friends. So again, I highly encourage you to just bring this stuff to a cognitive level when you go about your trading, and focus on your mental health, focus on your physical health, your spiritual health, your emotional health. We are a whole being. We cannot separate these things. They're intertwined on a level deeper than we probably do understand. So focus on that, all that good stuff, and just get out in nature. That's where home is, folks. And, focus on your relationships as well. I think relationships are probably the most important thing we have on this earth. So cultivate them, go do good for others, and love on people as hard as you can love on them. And I'll catch you folks later. Have a good one. Oh, we do have a question. What vitamins or supplements do you take or recommend? Fatty acids are really good, getting all your omegas in for joint health, especially as you get older. Super good. But essentially, I know food is expensive right now, but you should be getting the majority of your vitamins and minerals from whole foods. So through your diet, I could give you some recommendations for your diet, but everybody's so different. Using a large language model like ChatGPT can really help you dial in your vitamins, minerals with your whole foods. Organic obviously is the goal because of the pesticides and other stuff that they do to non-organic foods. But if you are, and you're lacking supplements, AG1 is a really good resource. I recommend looking them up. AG1, it's a blend of different vitamins and minerals and supplements, but it's expensive. Supplementation is expensive, but I would argue it is so worth it if you're looking to live a long and healthy life. So AG1, if you're looking for supplements, is good. Costco is also good if you know what supplements you're going for. Like I get all my omega fatty acids in pill capsules. You only have to take one a day. I take it with my water in the morning. And just because I don't love fish, I'm not a huge fatty fish guy. So that's where I get a lot of my omegas from. But if you eat a lot of fish, you don't even have to, which is cool. So yeah, AG1, Costco, and then use something like ChatGPT to help you tone in for your whole food diet. And then anything you can't get through your whole foods, supplement through those other resources. All right, friends. Yeah, I love you guys a ton. And I hope you guys really do something challenging today. Set yourself up for, the hard thing. And appreciate you tons, and have a good one. Catch you guys tomorrow.